If you are just a beginner who is just getting started with building websites, or you might have built some of small websites in your college or in your home, then this video is for you. Hi guys, my name is Manjunath, and in this video let's just try to understand how you can get started with building websites. So what is a website? Website is something which you see on web. All web is made up of website itself. So if you go to Google, then it's a Google's website. If you search for some other website in Google, then you will get some other website. So overall, whatever we say in internet, it's made up of websites only. And now you might say like there are mobile apps, there are like other things, but still these are somehow connected to some website in the end. So how you can get started building website? That would be one of the challenging question, but it's very easy to get started and you'll learn in no time. But let's just try to understand how does one can get started with building websites. Let's just try to understand, in order to build one house you need to start by gathering bricks and building foundation. So what's the foundation of the web? Web is made up of HTML, and HTML is one of the most powerful language in the world because it powers web, and there is probably no alternative of to it. No matter what kind of web developer you are, you have to learn HTML, and that gives us one powerful tool, that is our browser, in order to test HTML code. And you don't need to go too deep into learning HTML because it's just building block of website. And in order to make website look good, you have to use something called as CSS. And in order to make the website interactive, you need to use something called as JavaScript. So HTML, CSS and JavaScript, these three build up one website, whatever you see. So another thing is, whenever you are talking to someone who is like web developer, or whenever you see some YouTube videos, nobody talks much about HTML and CSS or even sometimes JavaScript nowadays. They only talk about something called as React or Next.js or Vue.js, Angular, whatnot. So all these are something called as frameworks, and these are particularly front-end framework. This helps you to build website much faster, and these are some of the modern way of building website. But in the end, all this JavaScript framework will convert whatever the website you built using it to HTML and CSS, and of course it will have some JavaScript to give power to it, that is interactivity to it. Now let's just try to understand what is powering all this particular website. So whatever the website you see is powered by something. If it is some business website, then obviously there is not much to it. You just have website and whatever you see, that's all. But now let's imagine YouTube or Facebook or even some other website which you use for some reason. And in such website, whatever the content you are seeing, those keep on changing. That is, it is dynamic website. And in order to make sure a website stays dynamic, you need to start using some backend technology. Some of the backend technology you might have heard nowadays is Node.js or Django or even PHP maybe. So all these are backend technologies. Their job is to give you dynamic content and log in, register, and all the kind of functionality which we love about websites. These works only because they are connected with something called as database. Database is something where your data gets stored. Now let's just try to understand. Whatever the post you are making in Facebook, whenever you create new post, you are presented with website for inputting the post content. Once you inputted the post content, you click on that submit button or like post now button, and that post now will store whatever the post you have made into a database, and that database gives all the other users, whenever they are accessing the website, the content which you have posted. So this is how one backend technology works, and database is also a part of it. And front end is used for just displaying whatever the backend gives to it. So that's how front end and back end website are made up of. I already made one video of it. Just try to find it in my channel, and I'll link it in the description also. So that's the front end part of it, and as well as back end part of it. Now you might be asking, what is the best way of learning it? In my opinion, you need to start with learning HTML and CSS. Once you are quite familiar, you don't have to get so much expert in it. Once you are quite familiar with it, slowly start learning JavaScript. Once you get like little bit understanding of JavaScript, if you are programmer, then you will immediately start finding similarities in whatever the other programming language you might be using. But if you are not programmer, then you might take a while to learn it. Then once you learn JavaScript, jump into some front-end framework. My favorite is React, and there are other frameworks also like Angular, Vue.js, and so many others. You can find it online. And once you are familiar with it, try to integrate with the Firebase or something like that kind of technology. And once you are like familiar with how to use Firebase, then you can start with the backend technology. And there is nothing like you have to follow whatever I said. You can follow and create your own roadmap, or you can try to find online also. But just make sure you start with HTML and CSS. That's the most important part, and most people get stuck in that particular thing. So don't get stuck. Keep learning it. You'll get better the more effort you put every day. So that's it for this video, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for getting more and more videos related to tech. So bye bye.